What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. Lastly, before we get out of here today, I wanted to talk about Giannis potentially staying in Milwaukee. It has been widely reported that there's no trade market for Giannis because Giannis hasn't requested a trade. I was looking at their payroll this morning, the Bucks, trying to give it like an honest, is there a real pathway here to pivot and try to contend around Giannis again? You have Damian Lillard on the books for $54 million next year. They can try to apply for a disabled player exception, but from what I can tell, it looks like it probably wouldn't get approved. Kyle Kuzma makes $22 million. He's been pretty disappointing. I will say this. I think Kuz has been a winning player before. I'm like 15% open to the idea that he could work his ass off this summer and come into camp as a more useful player. I'm not ready to write off Kyle Kuzma in the context of the Bucks. But Kyle Kuzma is your next biggest salary after Dame. Bobby Portis has a player option. I would imagine he'll opt out and resign. He's pretty strongly indicated in interviews that he wants a raise. So I like Bobby Portis, but I'm not sure I like him in the $20 million territory. Pat Connaughton is on the books for $9.4 million. It's a player option, but I would imagine he'll pick it up because he's a veteran minimum guy in the open market. Kevin Porter Jr. is on a player option. I think he'll opt out, but I think he has a good chance to re-sign with the Bucks on a minimum. I like his fit with Giannis, so I think he's worth keeping under those circumstances. AJ Green is locked up next year on a non-guaranteed $2.3 million deal. That's one of the best value deals in the league, so that's good for a very good 3-and-D player. Andre Jackson Jr. similarly on a non-guaranteed rookie deal. And then you have your deep bench guys like Chris Livingston and Tyler Smith, but that's it. So as you zoom out, you have zero reliable secondary ball handling off of Giannis. Your best secondary ball handler is Kevin Porter Jr. That's not going to do much damage in the Eastern Conference. You have no front court players who can defend other than Giannis. He's the one guy. And you likely have to overpay to keep guys like Portis. Say you want to re-sign Gary Trent Jr. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over the minimum after some of his shooting percentages in the postseason if his agent can drum up some market for him as a shooter. And they have very little in the way of draft compensation to make changes. The NBA Finals are here. This is your last chance to bet on the NBA until next season. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is pulling out all the stops to make this a finals to remember. One team will be crowned champ, and the other will be lost to history. Who you got winning it all? Put your hoops expertise to the test. All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Who's going to carry their team to the chip? Try placing a bet on your personal MVP to drop 30, 40, or maybe even over 50. Ready to place your own bet? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, lock in your bets, and finish the season as a winner. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Don't miss your last chance to bet on the NBA this season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HOOPS. That's HOOPS. That's code HOOPS for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. The point being, even if we acknowledge that the Eastern Conference is wide open, the roster is going to be operating at a substantial talent disadvantage in almost every major Eastern Conference matchup. I admire the loyalty. I really do. I'll always remember the Giannis era in Milwaukee fondly, even after the chip, even in those disappointing years. It's been so fun watching Giannis develop and improve and carry some of these limited rosters. His 2022 playoff series against the Boston Celtics is one of my favorite playoff series I've watched a star play. He backpacked those guys to a Game 7. But the bottom line is, this team isn't close to contending. Giannis deserves to go play meaningful basketball. And his value as an asset is still the best vehicle to help Milwaukee pivot and bring in the asset return they need to start fresh. It's still just the best and most sensible outcome for both sides of this deal. Again, I get it. I understand the sentimentality. I understand the optics of requesting a trade. I was talking with Shane before we got on the show. Like, there's been this trend where it kind of feels like some of these international guys are really hesitant to do some of the more aggressive behind the scene manipulating of their contract in terms of demanding trades. We haven't really seen an example of it. And we've seen guys like Giannis and even Jokic throughout the past few years, although obviously it paid off in 2023. We've seen Jokic, stick around through some injured rosters, through some limited rosters without any sign of complaining or wavering. And like Giannis has made some comments in the press about like maybe he would look elsewhere, but here he is and he still hasn't requested a trade. And again, I admire it. I admire the loyalty. But all I know is the basketball fan in me really wants to see Giannis play in late May and June. And the Bucks, to me, need assets. And they don't have many at this point. And so I think Giannis is the best vehicle to make that happen. And so I'm hopeful. As much as I understand this sucks for Bucks fans, I get it. I understand as a Bucks fan, there's a part of you that would love to just have Giannis forever and just be, even if you're mediocre in the East, you'd have more fun watching that team. I get it. I do. But I just think it's in the best interest for both sides for them to part ways this summer, and I hope that ends up happening.